colleagues, guests, esteemed faculty and future billionaires in the making. Welcome to the annual TU Dublin Research and Innovation Awards, brought to you live from the magnificent concert hall here at TU Dublin. Welcome to the guests joining us live here this evening, and welcome to all of those joining us on the live stream. My name is Claire McNamee, and I have the great honour of being your host for this evening's ceremony. We gather to honour those who have dared to ask big questions. We recognise and celebrate the excellent achievements of our research and innovation community. Tonight's award recipients are not just dreamers, they are doers. They remind us that real change requires courage and creativity. But tonight is not just about awards, it's about celebrating that spirit of inquiry and collaboration that drives us all. So let's keep our energy high, the laughter flowing, and the applause ready for our incredible winners. Before this evening's awards commence, we'll have the pleasure of welcoming three speakers. Professor John Doran, President of TU Dublin. We'll have a keynote address from Professor Grace Mulcahy, Professor of Veterinary Microbiology and the All-Ireland Research Culture Network Chair. And we'll also hear from Dr. Brendan Jennings, Vice President of Research and Innovation. We have 10 awards to announce this evening, and whilst there will be only 10 winners, we have over 100 nominees. All nominees this evening will receive a certificate which can be collected after the event in the foyer. As we announce each winner, or each award, we will share the shortlist here on screen. And when the award winner is announced, we would ask you to make your way down onto stage to collect your award and to have your picture taken. After the ceremony closes, we'll have networking and some delicious treats in the foyer. Apologies to those on the live feed, there's none for you. And now, to open this evening of inspiration and celebration, please give a warm TU Dublin welcome to our President, Professor John Doran.
Thank you very much, Claire. And I'm delighted to welcome everybody to our second annual TU Dublin Research and Innovation Award ceremony. I recall attending this ceremony this time last year, and I was struck by the breadth of the research activity across the university and the direct impacts that it has on many different aspects of life in Ireland. But perhaps most importantly, it was a wonderful celebration of the excellence and commitment, not only of the colleagues who won awards, but also of everyone nominated and the entire community of researchers. It's wonderful to be here again this year for what is already becoming a much anticipated event in the university calendar. As we all know, research is very much core to TU Dublin's mission as a technological university. The TU Act requires us to support a body of research that includes research relevant at regional, national and international levels, and pursue excellence in the conduct of that research. Moreover, it requires us to collaborate with business, enterprise and the professions, the community, local interests and related stakeholders in the region, and to ensure that insofar as possible, innovation activity and research undertaken by technological universities reflects the needs of those stakeholders. And while this is written into legislation, really it simply reflects the culture of research and innovation that existed in our founding institutions, a culture that's becoming more deeply embedded across the university. It is noteworthy that our annual expenditure on research and innovation activity has increased significantly in recent years, which is a testament to the creative energy you, our research community, bring to your research. I know that Brendan will give you an overview of the main developments in our research community over the past year when he speaks to you shortly, but I'd like to highlight that despite the financial challenges that the university is currently facing, we remain firmly committed to the development of research and innovation. Not only does high-quality research and impactful outcomes that arise from it stand on its own as a major contribution of the university, but it very much informs and guides the evolution and delivery of our programmes, undergraduate and postgraduate, so that all of our students benefit from learning in a research-informed and research-guided university environment. I'd like to thank everybody in the research and innovation function who coordinated the awards process over the last few months and who did such a great job organising this evening's event. Congratulations to everyone who was nominated for an award and to those of you who took the time to nominate colleagues for an award. Personally, I believe it's harder to do research in a technological university than it is in the more longer established universities, for various reasons, because we don't have the same career structures that other universities have. We don't have that yet, nor do we have a similar workload model which facilitates staff to do research. These two things are priorities for us to address in the coming years, because I know from experience and from watching colleagues over many years the level of commitment and passion that it takes to do research in TU Dublin, especially when that's sustained over a long period of time or over a long career. And I'd like to thank all of you who have actually been doing that in an outstanding manner. So, enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Professor Doran. I'd now like to welcome to the stage Professor Grace Mulcahy, Professor of Veterinary Microbiology and the All-Ireland Research Culture Network Chair. Please give her a warm welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much to Brandon, Mary and the colleagues who've invited me here this evening. I've got a few minutes, I think, and maybe about 15 minutes to talk about what we've done and what we continue to do in research culture in UCD, and how we're hoping to spread the message, evangelise, if you like, across Ireland and more broadly as well in terms of what we're doing with our All-Ireland Research Culture Network. So I'm going to talk first of all about what research culture means to me, and it can be sometimes a little bit of an ambiguous and difficult concept to define. And then going to go on and talk about our journey in UCD and how we came up with the idea of a research culture initiative. First of all, how we got some support to do it and where we've got to today. And finish off then by a few words talking about how I'd like to see us all moving together in the research ecosystem in Ireland and more broadly in Europe to develop an even more supportive and positive research culture than what we have at the moment. So, as I said, research culture can be a difficult concept to define. And if you go browsing around the internet, the Royal Society has one, a UKRI has one. And what I think about in terms of is how researchers behave in the way they do research, how they behave to their colleagues, how supervisors treat their PhD students, how they behave with, if you like, the subjects of their research, how they deal with patient and public interaction. And all of that, I think, very much underpins how good the research is. It underpins the excellence of the research, where it's published, how it's communicated, and also very much is linked to the integrity of the research. And that, of course, in turn informs public trust in research. So integrity is where I started on my personal research culture journey. And I know I was introduced as Professor of Microbiology, but people in UCD know me as somebody who's always poking their nose into places maybe it's no place to be. And one of those was in research integrity. So I got a call from our then president a few years ago, Andrew Deeks, and he said, you know, we need a research integrity officer. Would you be interested? So I thought, okay, this could be a poison chalice, but then I thought, okay, well, maybe it would be okay to do that role if we concentrate on preventing bad things happening in terms of research integrity, rather than just being the person who goes around, you know, with a big stick chasing people down. So we came to an agreement on that, and we decided that, yes, I would be research integrity officer, and we would have a preventive approach. And we had a very small team in place at the time. We had myself, we had my colleague from physics, Adrian Ottawell, I'm sure John will know of him, and Jill Boyle, who supports us as the governance and policy specialist. And we were chatting as we did, and we began to reflect upon the kinds of day-to-day problems that were coming to us in the Research Integrity Office. Very thankfully, in those early days, and I think still now, the really, really bad things were very rare. So as you know, the 3 cardinal sins in terms of research integrity are fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. And we didn't see a lot of those at all. But what we did see were a lot of smaller kind of niggles and things which could not be described as breaches of research integrity in any way, but which, if left untended, could end up being in that domain. And these were things like authorship disputes, who goes where on the paper, who should be included as an author, difficulties between collaborators, and collaborators not being able to communicate properly, and also communication breakdown between colleagues, between supervisors and students, and people, for example, in research administration, feeling that their work was not appreciated by the researchers that they were trying to help. So all of these we characterised as things that could be characterised as perhaps examples of our research culture needing to be thought about and improved. And so we said to our then Vice President for Research, of course now President, Orla Feely, please, Orla, could we have some money to do something about this? And maybe we got her on a weekday or something, but she said, yes, of course you can have some money. So we had 18 months to do something about this. And what we did was we ran a survey university-wide and asked people what they thought about the research culture in UCD. And a lot of people said very positive things. They felt we were a collaborative place, we were a collegial university, and overall, we had a supportive research culture. But as you would be not surprised to hear, also some little gripes came up. One of the gripes that came up was, well, you know, we do a lot of public announcement of somebody who wins a research grant. Professor X has got 5 million to, cure cancer or whatever, which is all well and good, but we never really celebrate in the same way the people who are perhaps out of the spotlight, the technicians who run the machines that makes Professor X's research possible, the research managers and administrators who ensure the reporting, financial reporting and so on gets in on time. And we never celebrate the people once the research is done. We kind of celebrate the money coming in and then we forget about it. So we said, okay, we can fix that. And we did, and that was one of our early wins. And the way in which we celebrated research outputs as opposed to just winning grants, I think, changed fairly radically from that point on. Another thing we said was, and this was common to the thread we heard when we went to talking to people in the UK, for example, on what they did about research culture, there was this sort of toxic spotlight almost on the principal investigator. And a single person managing perhaps a very big research team got all of the glory, whereas, again, the whole army that was required to ensure the research project got completed on time were virtually ignored. So we said, well, we're going to define our research community very broadly, and we're going to ensure we have reward and recognition in place for the entire research community. So we went to talk to our technical officers, for example, those people, again, who without whom we couldn't do research in many subjects, particularly STEM subjects. And the reaction we got was overwhelming. What they said to us, you were the first people who ever had come to us and asked us what we felt about research or about our place in the research ecosystem in UCD or about how you could recognise us better. And again, we talked about conferences, allowances and training for those, and those discussions are still ongoing. Following on from that then, we began to work on what we call communications training. And of course, as we all know, we have online research integrity training throughout all our research performing organisations in Ireland now. But we said, well, that we need a bit more than that. So we set up some kind of interactive role-playing workshops where people could come together, and we put the PhD student in the shoes of the PI for a day, we put the postdoc in the shoes of the research administrator and so on, helping to, if you like, walk in someone else's shoes and discover what it was like in their area and their side of the fence. And I think that really I think, woke people up and said, it's not just all about me, it really takes a team to do research. We then went on and we decided, maybe there's something really interesting in the concept of researcher well-being, because obviously you can't hope to be a good researcher or to do your work in an academic institution, including in research, well, unless you're comfortable in your job and comfortable in your role. So at the moment, one of the projects we have is a really interesting analysis, if you like, of the connection and the interaction between our research culture, defined broadly, and researcher well-being. And we're coming up with some interesting findings there. And one of the interesting tidbits that's coming out, and it's very early days, but I'll just show one result or talk about one result from this survey, is that people feel, or some people in our research community feel, that their natural love for and enthusiasm for research in their subject, in their discipline, is open to being exploited by the research ecosystem. And that doesn't mean just by the institution they work in, but by people like publishers who expect them to review papers, at the drop of a hat and send them nasty emails if the review doesn't get in on time. So that, I think, reflects the fact that we need to think about research culture not only within our organisations, but throughout the whole ecosystem. And playing a part in this are the institutions, the researchers themselves, the research students, but also the funders, and indeed the policy makers, so the HEA, for example. And I'm pleased to say that research culture does feature in HEA thinking now, and of course it impacts on so much else relevant to our national strategy, like open research, like transparency and data and so on, and EDI factors. All of those are part of our research culture. And I think if I was to summarise it, what we want to do is to try and strengthen the need for and the appreciation for collegiality within our research teams, rather than the hyper-competitiveness which can sometimes come to the fore, because we know research is a competitive business by its nature. We compete for funding, we compete to be the first to do something, and so on. So let's balance that with a little bit of collaboration. And so to finish off then, just a word about the Research Culture Network, which is a North-South network initiative. So the funding for this came from the Wellcome Trust Institutional Fund for Research Culture, which we were fortunate to get, and we're doing a number of different things with that money. But one of the things we're doing jointly with our partners in Queen's in Northern Ireland is to progress this research culture network. And the idea behind that is just simply a forum for people to come together, not only from research performing organisations, but from the funders, but from policymakers, etc., to talk about their views on research culture, why it matters, and how without a supportive research culture, we can't have excellent research, we can't enable our researchers to do very good research, and we can't have research with integrity. So that's very much in its early stages. I'm delighted to say we've over 40 institutions, north and south, already signed up to the Research Culture Network. And I know Brendan has it on his agenda, so remind him if he forgets for TU Dublin to join that network. We've a very interesting in-person meeting coming up in December, and I'd love to see some attendees from TU Dublin here at that particular meeting. And that network, I think, will allow us to share methodology. Perhaps we're doing culture surveys around the different parts of the island. It will allow us to examine differences in Northern Ireland, where they're funded under a completely different system than us. And interestingly, in terms of the North-South axis, you may have heard of the REF, this big behemoth of research assessment that our UK colleagues have to deal with. And research environment and research culture is actually one of the major factors that will be included in the upcoming REF in terms of how institutions are graded on their research. So our colleagues in QUB are progressing their research culture activities in light of the upcoming REF. We don't have the REF, and one of the questions we'd like to ask and answer is whether that impacts the way our research culture develops. So it's an interesting question. At our first meeting, our first formal meeting of the network, apart from the annual conferences, we had our annual conference in Satu this year, the next one will be in Belfast early next year. But we had an online meeting of our network recently, and we had two interesting presentations from organisations which had never really occurred to me were truly research-performing organisations. One was the Central Bank, which does quite a lot of research, and the other was the National Museums of Ireland, which also regard themselves as researchers. And they had really, really interesting perspectives on research culture, and it really made me think that we're not just doing research in a bubble in academic institutions. We need to relate to how other institutions do research, commercial institutions and other institutions, such as the two I've mentioned. And some of the problems, some of the issues are the same, some of them are very different. One of the points the museum made was, for example, that they continually get requests from academics to collaborate with them on research projects and do various kinds of analysis on artefacts and so on. But they very seldom get asked at an early stage when that project is being designed how they would like to input at that stage. So that's something we can clearly do and is relevant to research culture as well. So in conclusion, I'd just like to say that as a relatively newly formed technological university and right across the centre, I think there's a huge opportunity in TU Dublin to purpose-build and design a research culture, if you like, at an early stage when the institution has very much got a new focus now. And I think the questions that the President raised on career structures, on how to do research in a TU, and how that needs to be facilitated through policy are exactly the kind of questions that we hope to address through our research culture network. So again, friends and colleagues, another reason to join the network, and hopefully we can continue this conversation there at some of our meetings. Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation again to cover our meeting.
Thank you very much, Professor Mulcahy. There's definitely some great insights there, and we look forward to broadening and deepening our collaboration over the coming years. Now, for the man who is at the helm of this evening, please put your hands together for our Vice President of Research and Innovation, Dr. Brendan Jennings.
So, good evening, colleagues and friends. It is great to see so many of you here for the second annual Research and Innovation Awards. The awards give the university an opportunity to celebrate and to recognise the remarkable achievements of you, our community of researchers and innovators. The dedication and the passion you display through your exploration of the frontiers of knowledge and in the generation of insights and practical solutions is very inspiring, and the university is justifiably proud of your contribution to our society and to the country. So we had our first awards this time last year, and when we did, we were at the start of the implementation of the university's first 5-year research and innovation strategy. Today, I'm pleased to report that we have made significant progress towards the implementation of many of the strategic actions outlined in that strategy, and I'm going to spend a few minutes discussing some of the main developments led out by the R&I function over the past year towards that implementation. Won't take too long. You will recall that as we were developing the strategy, we also engaged in a process that led to the design of 5 research hubs, which have now been created. All 5 have research hub leads and are supported by an executive committee, and work is ongoing to ensure that they have sufficient space and infrastructure and the supports that the researchers who use their facilities need. During the year, we also initiated a process to designate research centres, and 21 were designated about 2 months ago, and I do expect that more will follow in 2025. Some of these were obviously pre-existing centres, but it was really terrific to see some new centres form around constellations of colleagues who have really exciting ideas for new research topics and bringing together interesting mixes of people with expertise. So I think there's some very brilliant potential for lots of exciting work in the years ahead through those centres. At the start of the year, we received the very welcome news that our application for accreditation under the EU's Human Resources Strategy for Researchers was approved. We have an action plan associated with that accreditation that is well underway in terms of the actions, and it's all focused around improving the working environment for all of our researchers at all levels. President spoke a little bit about academic staff, and clearly the introduction of a new career structure that recognises and awards achievement in research and innovation is a key issue for you all. As well as advocating for change nationally, we're also starting to consider, well, what should research assessment look like in the context of a technological university, and how should it be different from traditional approaches? We signed up to the principles of the Coalition for Advancing Research Assessment, COARA, and we published our COARA action plan over the summer. So far, we're the only university or organisation in Ireland to publish our action plan, and we're now setting up the structures to implement it. There will be a responsible research assessment working group which has been set up through our RNI Academy that will look at that issue, and I hope that a lot of you will have an opportunity to engage with that. And I think it will be key to doing what Grace said in terms of defining what our research culture is and how we measure research and what we appreciate and what we take on board. A major milestone this year was the introduction of the Pure Research Information System, which provides a public portal through which to disseminate our research output. The introduction has been a really big success. Checked today, there's 652 staff profiles published through researchprofiles.tudublin.ie, which is great. But more significantly, we smoothly migrated from our much-loved RIS system to Pure Award Management over the last month or two. What's really impressive about that is that our research support services teams managed that transition while supporting two really significant increases, both in the number of Marie Sklodowska-Curie Action Fellowship Award proposals, and also a huge increase in the number of Government of Ireland postgraduate proposals. So to do that, it was a significant achievement with a new system and new processes. We've made a lot of progress in the area of research ethics and integrity. The year saw the introduction of a new set of university policies, one for research ethics, one for research integrity, and one around authorship. Those policies are being implemented through new processes, and for ethics, a new committee structure involving a university research ethics committee overseeing a number of disciplinary focused ethics committees. And those of you who have applied for ethical approval during the year will have experienced a much more efficient process enabled by an online self-assessment process, and that is being used currently as the basis for a rollout of support for ethical approval for undergraduate and postgraduate research in our schools. Our Research and Innovation Engagement and Impact team have not only done an amazing job of organising the R&I Awards and tonight's event, but they've also coordinated during the year the Research Centre designation process, which was a significant amount of work, developed the first iteration of a research impact framework for the university, and at the moment I'm putting the finishing touches on a research engagement framework for the university. So these latter two provide some very useful guidelines and practical tools that will help all of our researchers productively engage with all the stakeholders with an interest in the research, and will help ensure that the impact of the work is maximised. As many of you will know, our innovation and knowledge transfer team is one of the best in the country, as evidenced yet again by the data in the recently published annual knowledge transfer survey. And our capability to engage with enterprise partners in particular will be further extended through the investment supported through ARISE, our TU ARISE funded project, which has funded 5 business development managers who I think have been circulating, and I'm sure you'll all meet them. who will be helping bridge that gap or broker relationships between our research community and enterprises, both commercial enterprises and social enterprises. So, as I said, those were some highlights of what has been achieved during the year in terms of supporting the research community and the university. But they're really only important in the sense that they will hopefully help reduce the bureaucratic burden that unfortunately all researchers must tolerate, and maybe also provide some practical supports and tools to help you do your best possible work. I definitely can say that the R&I function is packed with wonderful and deeply committed colleagues who work immensely hard to support the university's research and innovation ambition. We all revel in your success, which is why we are so delighted to be here to celebrate your achievements this evening. Thank you.
Who's excited? This is the moment we've all been waiting for, the awards. So, whether you're here in this concert hall or whether you're watching us on the live stream, you have a chance to share in the celebration of the Research and Innovation Awards by joining us online using the hashtag TUDublin or iAwards. So come on, let's make TU Dublin go viral tonight. As we're about to announce the award winners, I want to take a moment to talk about something very important, and that's enthusiasm. Yes, that's right. When I call out the winners, I need every person in this room to unleash your inner cheerleader. I want you to act as if you just found a parking spot at the back of East Quad on a rainy day. You know that feeling? And let's channel that kind of energy and whoop and clap and cheer and give people thunderous applause. So to get into the practice for this evening, please give a thunderous welcome back on stage to Dr. Brenton Jennings, who's going to present the first few awards. Brenton is delighted. It's the first time he's ever been whooped. Our first award this evening, folks, is our Early Career Research Award, an award in recognition of research excellence commensurate with a career stage of less than 8 years post-PhD. So please show your appreciation for our shortlisted nominees displayed on our screen. Of the Early Career Researcher Award 2024 is Dr. Ciara Ahern. Since graduating with her PhD in 2018, Dr. Ahern has made significant contributions to sustainable building research, particularly in her leadership roles within Mare Research Centre, as she founded the Irish Building Stock Observatory in 2021 to provide better understanding of the energy performance of the building sector through reliable, consistent and comparable data to share knowledge between those engaged in buildings and energy research. Congratulations, Dr. Ahern. Our second award of the evening is our Established Researcher Career Award, an award in recognition of distinguished achievements or outstanding contributions commensurate with someone at an established career stage. Please show your appreciation for our distinguished shortlist. And the winner of the Established Researcher Career Award 2024 is Professor Hugh Byrne. Professor Byrne has led numerous high-impact projects, attracting over 30 million in funding over his research career. His pioneering work in biospectroscopy is globally recognized, and he has produced over 400 papers, 15,000 citations, and a H index of 62. He has pioneered the use of vibrational spectroscopy for use in live cell imaging to advance disease diagnostics and the development of cytotoxicological assays.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Jennings. I would now like to invite Professor John Doran, President of TU Dublin, to present the next two awards. Our third award, folks, is for excellence in provision of support to researchers. We all know that behind every great researcher is a great research support person. This award is given in recognition of the contributions of staff from TU Dublin who provide support to our researcher community. On screen, you'll see those shortlisted for this award. Please show your support for this wonderful institution. The winner of the 2024 Award for Excellence in Provision of Research Support to Researchers is Dr. George Amarande. Dr. Amarande plays an instrumental role in enriching the research experience for colleagues and collaborators in the research group he leads. He is known for his hands-on approach, actively guiding and supporting researchers, both new and experienced, in navigating the complexity of research funding, collaboration, and project management. George's open-door policy and inclusive leadership style have been instrumental in cultivating a collaborative atmosphere, and the group has grown threefold under his direction. Congratulations. John looks confused if you got the right award. Just double check. Our fourth award is for Excellence in Research Supervision, an award in recognition of a research supervision as nominated by a master's or a PhD student or recent alumni. Please show your appreciation for these hard-working research supervisors. Winner of the Excellence in Research Supervision Award is Dr. Stephen Davey. Dr. Davey is celebrated for his excellence in research supervision, providing clear guidance, timely feedback, and fostering collaboration among his students. Dr. Davey is not only a mentor, but also a role model. His passion for research, coupled with his unwavering support for his students, inspires a deep sense of dedication and enthusiasm. He is always approachable, offering guidance and reassurance, particularly in challenging times. This holistic approach to supervision ensures that all students are not only academically successful, but are well prepared for their future careers. Congratulations, Dr. Davey. Thank you very much, Professor Doran. I would now like to welcome Dr. Mary Deasy, Head of Research and Innovation for Engagement and Impact Awards, to present the next two awards. Mary, you should win an award for the longest title, role title in the entire university. Thank you for joining us, Mary. The fifth award this evening is for Research Engagement. This award is given in recognition for a research active staff member who has created meaningful research or scholarship partnerships with non-academic or societal partners with the goal of making effective and sustainable change. Please show your appreciation for these remarkable colleagues. of our Research Engagement Award 2024 is Professor Fiona Ling. Professor Ling is unable to join us this evening and will be represented by Orla Howe, so thank you for joining us. Professor Ling has made outstanding contribution to cancer diagnostics research through her engagement with the Coombe Women's and Infants University Hospital on cervical cancer screening for the early detection of preventable cancer. She has further developed the protocol together with other clinical collaborators in the Dublin Dental Hospital and in St James Hospital so that it could be used for oral and lung cancer. Congratulations, Fiona, Orla, on Fiona's behalf for this commendable work. We are now more than halfway through our awards ceremony. Before we move on to the next awards, how are we getting on online, folks? Have we got TU Dublin trending yet? If not, it's not too late. Hashtag TU Dublin ORI Awards. LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. The next award this evening is our Multidisciplinary Research Team Award. And this award recognises an outstanding and impactful research initiative or project based on a collaborative, multidisciplinary team approach. Please show your appreciation for these impressive groups. The winner of the Multidisciplinary Research Team Awards 2024 is Human Factors and Safety and Sustainability Research Group. This team, led by Dr. Maria Chiara-Leva, has advanced the development of adaptive systems that predict and mitigate human errors and safety risks in real time, where lives may be at stake for high-risk industries like aviation, healthcare, and nuclear energy, where both technical and human failures can lead to severe societal, economic, and environmental consequences. The team is largely and truly interdisciplinary in nature, with members based in electrical and electronic engineering, food science, media and social sciences, and computing. External members come from hospitals, businesses, and academia from Denmark, Italy, Serbia, and the United Kingdom. Congratulations to the full team. Thank you very much, Mary, and I'd now like to welcome Dr. Paul Maguire, Head of Innovation and Knowledge Transfer, to the stage for the next two awards. Our seventh award this evening, folks, is our Innovation Impact Award. This award recognises researchers who are developing project outputs that have real commercial potential. On screen, you'll see the shortlist for this award, so please show your appreciation for these impressive innovators. The winner of the Innovation Impact Award 2024 is Dr. Ferran Diaz. Dr. Tian's research in nanotechnology and diagnostics has led to the development of innovative, commercially viable diagnostic kits for bacteria that can prevent hospital patients and health workers from being harmed by toxins and avoidable infections. Her collaborations with industry and academia have resulted in several patents and technology transfers, showing her impact on healthcare and biosensor technologies. Congratulations, Dr. Tian. The next award is our One to Watch award, and this award is in recognition of researchers who've generated outstanding cultural, economic, environmental or societal impact from their research. Please show your appreciation for these outstanding nominees. The winner of the One to Watch Award 2024 is Dr. Matthew Sheehan. Dr. Sheehan has been recognised as a One to Watch for his work on the development of a new prototype device, the iTrevor, which has potential as a diagnostic tool for brain diseases such as Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis. It also has a major commercial potential as a screening tool in optometry and neurology clinics, as well as for the detection of concussion in a variety of environments, including pitchside paramedical care. Congratulations on being a worthy recipient of tonight's award. And we are on to our final two awards, folks. So for these last two, I would like to welcome the Queen of Sustainability, Vice President Jennifer Boyer, to join me on stage to present the awards. The next presentation is the Research in Climate Action Award, an award that recognises researchers who demonstrate real-world impact and resilience actions for society, economy and environment in response to climate change. Please show your support for these trailblazing women on the shortlist. The Research in Climate Action Award 2024 is Dr. Michelle Giltrap. Dr. Giltrap's research on climate action, particularly within the context of sustainable building practices, has been influential in shaping environmental policies. Her published reports have contributed to those developed by the Marine Institute for the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. Her innovative approach to reducing carbon emissions have earned her recognition as a leader in climate action research in ecotoxicology and in the biological effects of chemical pollutants, nanomaterials and microplastics on the environment. Congratulations on being a worthy winner of this award. And we finally made it to the last award of the evening. It's sadder than that. That's better, folks. Our final award for this evening is our Research in Sustainability Education Action Award, an award which recognises researchers who've developed and demonstrated impact in this new area of research to inform learning and teaching practices central to studying complex contemporary societal issues. For the final time this evening, please show your admiration for this wonderful shortlist. And the winner of the Research in Sustainability Education Action Award 2024 is Emma Gagan! Ms. Gagan's research focuses on integrating sustainable practices into the curricula, fostering a new generation of environmentally conscious professionals. She plays a leading role in the HCI Building Change Project, a strategic education initiative and partnership between all schools of architecture in the Republic of Ireland.
The project has radically revised architecture education in Ireland with respect to climate literacy and advanced environmental and technological knowledge and know-how. Congratulations, Emma. And thank you very much to Jennifer. With our 10 awards now given out, I invite our Vice President of Research and Innovation, Dr. Brendan Jennings, to stage for closing remarks.
Okay, congratulations everyone. So I just want to do a few thank yous and then I'll let you all out into the night. First, thanks to our President, John, for coming in and for his remarks, and great to hear how committed he is to research in the university. It's important that we hear that. I want to really thank Grace for coming over to give a really inspiring discussion of how the research culture initiative evolved in UCD. I think we're going to go on that same sort of trajectory. We're certainly joining the network probably tomorrow. I know there's an email in my inbox that I have to reply to, and you all know how good I am at replying to emails. I want to really thank Mary Deasy and her team for organising this, not just tonight, but over the last few months from the call back in, was it June? So Mary herself, Gordon, Catherine, but mostly Fiona and Danielle, who did an awful lot of work to run the whole process and coordinate it on every step of the way, and to organise a brilliantly organised event tonight. So thank you to the whole team, but especially Fiona and Brian. Also want to thank the unnamed external evaluators who did all the assessments. There was quite a lot of nominees this year, which is absolutely brilliant. And I had a very difficult task to sift through all the applications for the various awards and rank them. And the internal, I was coming to the internal panel. And the internal panel, again, who had a very difficult job in terms of, I think it's probably harder when you're assessing things from your own colleagues and friends than it is for when you're an external. So thanks for everybody involved. There was a lot of work and a lot of background work to get shortlists and get awardees identified. And to thank all the colleagues in the Conservatoire for supporting us using the concert hall tonight. It's brilliant to be here as ever. Thank you to Kennedy's for all the lovely food and drinks. And last but not least, a really special thanks to Claire for really bringing the energy and getting us So thanks again for coming. I think Claire wants a couple of closing remarks, but I'm looking forward to seeing you all again next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brendan. We've now made it to the end of this evening's event. I'd like to thank all of you in the audience for your tremendous participation and for all of your support, for all of the nominees that we see here on screen, and of course all of our award recipients. Once the event closes, all guests are asked to make their way to the lobby for refreshments, and we would ask that the award winners would stay here in their seats to be called for photographs. So friends, esteemed colleagues and our outstanding award recipients, as we draw this wonderful evening to a close, I want to take a moment to celebrate the incredible innovation and groundbreaking research we've recognised tonight. Your hard work and creativity are what truly drive TU Dublin forward. Thank you for joining us tonight, for your unwavering commitment to research and innovation. Congratulations once again to our award winners. Let's continue to push boundaries, find creative solutions, and perhaps even sneak in a few extra funding proposals along the way. So safe travels home to everyone, and here's to another year of remarkable achievements. Go TU Dublin. Good night.